There are sellers making hundreds of thousands of dollars on Etsy selling AI art as digital downloads. And over the past year, I've spent every single day making this business easier than ever before. There are tons of sellers absolutely crushing it with these digital wall art downloads like Lexington Prints with their 9.8K in estimated monthly revenue, as well as Atlas Vintage Prints with their estimated 20K in monthly revenue. And finally, Four Sisters, who have only been around for about a year and a half, and their estimated 11.8K in estimated monthly revenue. This business seems very simple on paper. You just make AI art designs like these using Midjourney or any other AI generator of choice, throw them in some mockups, list them for sale on Etsy, and then crop and upscale this design into large upscaled sizes that the buyer can print out and frame at home. But this actually takes hours and hours of time, and you have to do this for 5 different cropped upscaled sizes, plus up to 10 or even 20 mockups. And that's just for one print. Shops like Four Sisters have 1,500 of these listings. So I saw this clear as day. Sellers were making a ton of money doing this, but the manual, repetitive work required for each and every print was totally time consuming. But I've been writing code for over a decade, and I've even written software for million and even billion-dollar companies. So when I started my AI art Etsy shop at the end of 2023, within my first year, I was able to do months like this while working only a couple of hours a week. With this system, I can just throw a bunch of art designs in a folder like this, run an automation script in one click, and in the output folder, I get a bunch of finished output for each of these designs, which includes those cropped and upscaled images in extremely high resolution sizes like 6,000 by 8,000, right? So these are the product ready for the customer, plus tons of mockups, as many as I really want, with the art design filled in. And if I just go back to show you another one, we get the same exact thing, but with a different art design filled into the mockups, and then obviously different cropped and upscaled images, but in the same ratio, same sizes, so everything is ready for Etsy. And on top of that, I also built a bulk uploader software that allows you to drop in all those files and it uploads it all to Etsy as listings in one click. You just fill out a template with listing image names, video, digital files, details, description, and then you just drop in the files. So you just go back a folder and then back another folder, drop in a parent folder like this, and what the software does is break apart all of your listings and create Etsy listings on autopilot. So you can see we have one right here with this little rabbit. It's uploading all the mockups, all the files, deer, all the mockups, all the files, and etc., etc. And on top of that, we've also added features that allows you to click a button like this, and then this. And what this will actually do is send your primary mockup to an AI vision model on the back end, break it apart, and write SEO optimized titles, tags, alt text for your images to rank it higher in search, and even dynamic keywords to fill into your description. For example, immerse yourself in vintage, season charm, blah, blah, blah. And what this will do is look at the image and actually write a custom word like winter, right? And you can do this for as many words as you want. So after a drag and drop and clicking that button, you can scroll through and look at all the AI written SEO for your listings. Then just click upload right here to kick it off and send them right to Etsy live so they're ready in your drafts, and then you can do the final step to publish them and get them making sales on Etsy. This is the most high-tech Etsy software that exists in the world today. And at the end of 2024, I made the key decision to make this system public. The sellers using this system have been able to move lightning fast, plus save hours and hours of time, and see success even bigger than I saw when I first started using it. But it didn't all start that way. And in this video, we're going to do a full year in review for 2025 and this entire automation system. It's been a crazy ride, and 2025 has been absolutely game-changing for this system, and 2026 is going to be even crazier. So our first major milestone with the automation system was in fact January 26th of 2025, right at the beginning, and that is actually when we launched Tempest and Downpour, okay? Tempest is the automation script that turns your art on your computer into the cropped images and mockups. Downpour is the bulk uploader software where you drop that all in and it uses AI vision to write the titles and tags and upload to Etsy. But it didn't start that way. In fact, when we first launched Tempest and Downpour, there was no AI auto generation anything. It was just the automation script in a very bare bones stripped down form, and then the bulk uploader in another bare bones stripped down form. In fact, in its first ever form, you would need to use custom GPT agents to write titles and tags and then fill out a CSV like a Google Sheets file, and upload that to Downpour to get all the titles and tags locked in. And honestly, even that was light years ahead of any other upload software out there. I knew it saved me days and days of time over the past few months, and I built this thing for myself So to make it public and allow other people to use it, it was just kind of a big leap of faith moment. But over the first few months of launching the system, we had members coming in and providing amazing, just game-changing feedback that totally shaped the system into the way it is today. We spent a few months iterating, talking with some of our earliest members, and just fine-tuning everything to get it set up. And then we come to our second milestone ever, which was sort of a hodgepodge of different things over the past few months. So we added attribute support to Downpour, which is like primary color, orientation, just extra stuff that's on Etsy that wasn't even in the system when it first launched, as well as affiliate options in the community. So if you're not aware, for every member that you bring in with the invite link, you actually get $40 a month forever. So it's a pretty solid affiliate program. And we launched that at the beginning of the year as well. And one of my favorite parts of the automation system, and honestly the community as a whole, prompt drops. So these are best-selling prompts with breakdowns to show you exactly what to create and what to look for as you're creating AI art and posting it to Etsy. These are a staple in the community today, and it's kind of crazy to think that we only started doing these earlier this year. But at this point, we've had tons of different prompt drops for all the seasons. We obviously started with spring at the beginning of the year, then moved to summer, then autumn and winter, and now we're moving into the new year and doubling down on exactly what works. We'll be doubling down on these prompt drops in the new year with new styles, real case studies, and just overall leveling up these things as we move into 2026. Then we go to the next feature, and this might have been one of the biggest features we've ever added to Downpour, and that is, of course, AI vision and the auto-generated titles and tags. This was a long time coming, and like I said, we used to use custom AI agents to write titles and tags and then import them into a CSV. And so we took what we learned from that and applied it to a model on the back end, hooked up the AI vision, and now this thing just runs an autopilot while your listings are uploading. This has been a huge staple for Downpour, and it feels like it's been around forever, but just remember there was a 4-month stint where it wasn't even a part of the system. So yeah, it's just something to be grateful for, and it really set the foundation for some of the later features that we built on top of this. And just a week or two later, we actually launched our first ever $100 Masterpiece Challenge in the community. So if you're not aware, every single month we give away prizes for AI art designs, and that's pretty much it. You just submit your best AI art design, and we rank it based on a specific set of criteria, like the quality of the art, obviously, the quality of the prompt, would it be a scroll stopper if someone saw it on Etsy, stuff like that. So we did this for the first time back in May, and we only had one winner at the time. We have leveled up these challenges over the last few months. But yeah, this was just the start of something amazing. Then we moved on to a few more prompt drops, a few more tweaks to the automation system, and then finally we added something a little bit different that actually saved a ton of time, and that was the screenshot method. So essentially, we added a way to load your designs into Downpour, the upload software, in just one click. So you just hit print screen on your keyboard, take a screenshot like this, and then hit Control V to paste it in like this, and it uses AI vision to actually fill in your template for you like this, right? And then you can just rearrange things to your liking and make it all look nice, and then you're good to go. This was a huge quality of life update, and we also launched AI Titles 2.0 with this update, which just made the titles way better, way more reliable, perfect lengths and stuff like that. And yeah, I won't spoil it now, but we're actually going to launch a brand new version of the screenshot method that's even more reliable and even faster, and you'll hear more about that soon. So at this point, the current version of this automation system is really starting to take shape, and there are already tons of sellers seeing wins with the version that we had all the way back in May. And all the while, we also were launching more of our $100 Masterpiece Challenges and just leveling them up 1 month at a time. In June, we added 3 winners instead of just 1, and that was awesome. It was just cool to keep it running and see people's art evolve over time. Then there was a bit of a pause because we spent a ton of time building what is probably our biggest integration that we've ever added to the automation system, and that is the Downpour Google Drive uploads integration. So in Downpour, you can actually connect your Google Drive like this, and all you have to do is turn it on, upload a placeholder PDF. Then we can actually upload our folders just like we did before. If I just grab them here, and I'll just upload one random one like this Arctic Hare instead of all of them. So I can just drag and drop this guy like that. And what this will do is do similar things to what we just did, although there's actually going to be a intermediate step where it uploads these files to Google Drive. So it creates a new Google Drive folder, uploads all the files, creates a shareable link, pastes that link in a PDF, and the PDF is actually what goes on Etsy, right? So once everything is ready, I can actually click Upload to Google Drive, click Yes, and it's going to upload just these 5 files, right? So our product, like the upscaled and cropped files, to Google Drive. And then it's going to create our little PDF right here. And if I click it, you'll see It's a thank you PDF, right? This is actually an example that you can get in the community if you want. Your shop here. You click a link and it automatically gets filled in by Downpour and sends you to the Google Drive folder with the upscaled files, right? Exactly what you would expect on Etsy. So this was honestly a game changer because tons of sellers use this PDF Google Drive method because it allows you to include more files and the files can be bigger. So on Etsy, you can only include 5 and the files must be 20 megabytes or less. And for example, sellers like North Prince, who do an estimated 20K in monthly revenue today, but they've done over $3 million in estimated revenue over their 5 years on Etsy, which is crazy. If we click on one of their designs like this, they actually do a hybrid approach and include a couple of their JPEGs on Etsy, plus a PDF that links to Google Drive with all the sizes they provide. And so now with Downpour, we can do this exact same setup. So there really is nothing stopping you from building a shop just like this. So we spent a ton of time building, testing, and rolling out that feature. But on top of that, we still wanted to make it fun. And so we did the $100 July Masterpiece Challenge once again with 3 winners. The system and the community just kept on getting better and growing. And in that same theme, just a couple of weeks later, we also released Tempest 2.0. So that included full bundle support, right? Tons of sellers on Etsy, like North Prince, for example, sell a ton of frame sets and bundles. In fact, these are some of their best prints. Like you can see this set right here is a 41X outlier. So it's just absolutely crushing. And this is one of their biggest frame sets ever, right? $171,000 in estimated total revenue. That's nuts. And yeah, you can just see it's a frame set, right? So it includes a bunch of different designs and vertical, horizontal, different aspect ratios and sizes. But the thing is, for every single one of these, you need to provide the 5 cropped and upscaled sizes, right? The product. So you have to make a special folder in Google Drive, right? Because there's way too many files to include directly on Etsy. So you have to make special folders in Google Drive with all the cropped and upscaled sizes for each and every one of the art designs, plus throw them all in these mockups like this, right? Some of these are just info cards, but like this one and this one and that one and this one, right? So there's actually a lot more variables because you can have multiple frames. Some can be vertical, some can be horizontal, right? Some can be a merge, some are just singles like this. So for anyone who's used automation before, you know that different patterns like these can be a little bit hard to manage, but we spent a ton of time building this bundle setup. And what it allows you to do is just drop in your art designs like these, and then you can run that Tempest script on your computer to create the folders and files. What it'll do is actually use orientation aware logic to realize which ones are vertical, which ones are horizontal, and then place those into the right frames in each and every mockup, right? So it's pretty intelligent. And then what it'll do is create special cropped and upscaled folders for each one of the designs. And then you can just drop that big batch into Downpour and it uploads everything in one Google Drive folder with subfolders for each of the cropped and upscaled designs, right? And they're all the right sizes. The verticals have 5 vertical sizes. The horizontals have 5 horizontal sizes. So anyway, all that to say, this was a huge update too that we launched right after Google Drive, and it's been amazing. There are sellers using this all the time today. Frame sets are one of the biggest, best high margin sellers on Etsy for digital wall art products. So it's just been great, and I'm really happy that we have support for this, and we fine-tuned it over time. We also included memory in the automation script where you can use custom sizes. If you want your 11 by 14 to be different pixel dimensions than someone else's 11 by 14, you can do that. And yeah, it's all saved to your script's memory, so you can just type in the numbers and hit OK, and everything is good to go. But we weren't done yet, because later that same month, we also released AI auto-generated descriptions. So this was actually a huge update, and it allows you to make dynamic content in your descriptions. So like we showed earlier, you can add season and curly braces. And what it'll do is actually pop up a prompt like this. So this is sort of the default. Use AI to write a clear season that fits smoothly into the context and enhances the overall description, right? So this is the prompt it sends to the AI. And it does the same AI vision that it does for titles and tags. And what it does is write that little keyword for you based on the design, right? So for this winter hair design, it gave it a season of winter. And for the winter hair design as well, it gave it a subject of a charming Arctic hare in a snowy meadow, right? And it even is grammatically aware. So if I scroll up here, immerse yourself in vintage winter charm with this vintage style printable wall art of a charming Arctic hare in a snowy meadow, right? And then the period was here. so it didn't add it here, right? So it's like grammatically aware. And yeah, I mean, this is a kind of simple example, but you can use as many wildcards as you want, and you can make them as advanced as you want. So yeah, this was a pretty big game changer because it allows you to kind of create unique SEO keywords like winter, right? Or Arctic hare or snowy meadow, right? These allow your listing to kind of shine among the rest and be specifically targeted at winter design buyers, right? Instead of just having a static description for every single one of your listings. So as you can see, Downpour and this entire system as a whole is just getting better and better. And on top of that, we're still doing these monthly challenges, right? We're still doing $100 at this point with 3 winners. And just to kind of show you an example here, this is all through the AI Art Sellers Collective community, by the way. That's where you get the automation system, and it just all lives in this community. Okay, so like here's the August Masterpiece Challenge for $100, some of the criteria. And it's just really cool because there's a kind of community thread where you can just post or answer questions or comment your own answers, and people just provide value. So that's kind of a key part of the automation system as a whole, is you get access to this community, plus all the fun giveaways and stuff like that. And on that same note, here at the beginning of September, there was something sort of funny and interesting that happened, which was a post called The Side Effect of Building Something Real. So here in this group, I posted a little GIF like this, right? And we actually have in the free AI Art Sellers Collective. So this is another community that's just a free, slimmed down version, no automation system, mostly just the guides and resources from the AI Art Sellers Collective. We almost have 5,000 members, which is just absolutely crazy here in December. But essentially, if I just go back here, what happened was we had a ton of people in the free group joining under names and profile pictures like this, right? And that was a little bit crazy. And so it was sort of interesting to think about, and yeah, just made me reflect on some things and write this post essentially about that, you know, if you're building something good, you're going to get people who want a piece of it, whether ethically or unethically, right? And so, yeah, whether that applies to a community or a software like this, or to the sellers in the group using the automation system. Sometimes when you post your first listings on Etsy, you can get spam messages, just like you do on social media or whatever else. And instead of taking that as a critique or like you're doing something wrong, it's actually proof of value. It means you have something good and it's worth people like scammers and bots or whatever taking their time and resources to kind of try to spam you like that. So yeah, it was just kind of a belief shift for me that, you know, when you're building something that has value and momentum, scammers want to leech off the momentum, and it's only because there's momentum to begin with, right? So it's actually a compliment. Anyway, that one was a little bit more introspective, but worth pointing out because it's just, yeah, something I like to keep in mind. But on top of that, later that month, another $100 challenge. We kind of kept the momentum going with these challenges just while we were launching tons and tons of features, as you can probably tell. This one was great. Tons of members from the old challenges were still competing and actually winning, and it was just awesome to see people's art evolve over time and their AI skills get better and better. But after that, we moved into October, and then we launched another really key feature that has leveled up listings using the system, and that is AI auto-generated alt text. So you might have seen this here in the software below each image, but Downpour actually writes custom alt text for every single one of your images. Okay, and alt text is essentially just alternative text that lives in the background of your image, but it can be used by Google or Etsy to rank your listing higher in search. And so the Downpour AI model has had a ton of training on exactly how these should look. White Arctic hare artwork poster for living room, right? Arctic hare oil painting, wall art for nursery. So it's trying to spread different SEO keywords to get this ranked as high as humanly possible for your listings on Google and Etsy, like I said. Honestly, this seems like a small improvement, but I'm super proud of it, and it really does make a big difference. And so this just all happens automatically in the background along with the title and tags and description keywords. So I'm super proud of that, and it's just now a part of Downpour, right? It's just one of those things that now just exists for everyone using the system. And it's just awesome to see. And on top of that, just a couple days later, we leveled up our challenge for the first time in a few months and created the $200 October challenge with 3 winners. So it was super exciting to level it up, and that was actually the start of even more level ups to this challenge in the next few months. Then, just a couple of days later, we also added 20 image support in Downpour, the upload software. Just a couple of days before, Etsy released their 20 image support, and so we updated Downpour to work in tandem with that. So now you can upload up to 20 images with this show more button like this, right? You might not need to use all 20. I personally still prefer around 10, but you can do whatever you want now, and the system fully supports it. And that leads us into the next phase of our new features, and This is something I dreamed about when I first launched the system, and it's just been amazing to see this come to fruition in the last few months. And it's only going to get better in probably the next 30 days. So stay tuned for that at the end. But this was actually in November, bulk edit V1, the first ever version for Downpour. So in Downpour, if we go back to the dashboard, I can just select some of my draft listings like this and go into edit selected here. And what it'll do is actually bring them into a brand new screen for bulk edit, right? So you can bulk edit titles, tags, and even images, right? You can add images at certain ranks. You can remove images at certain ranks, right? So it's just all integrated into Downpour. You can click this to start a new removal. Say I want to remove every image at rank 2 and hit save, right? Click apply at the top if you want to apply it on Etsy, or you can go to the tags and make some changes, right? Or you can select them all and actually do regenerate with the AI model. Same thing with titles, right? So essentially everything you would expect. And while this is pretty cool, this is sort of just the basic bulk edit that a lot of other Etsy softwares have. So that's kind of why I called it V1. But there's about to be a brand new feature that we're going to talk about at the end that's going to make this essentially the most high-tech bulk edit that exists across any Etsy software. So I am super excited for that. But before we get there, we actually leveled up once again with our November Masterpiece Challenge for $250. And this time we actually added 5 winners, okay? The community was growing, and I love this challenge, and it's amazing to see members win. And so I wanted to up the winner prize to 5 members, plus increase the actual pool. And it's just been amazing. People from other challenges have been submitting and winning, or new members just who are really great at making AI art designs get in and win the prize. And moving into more recent days, we also leveled up the challenge one more time in December to the $300 challenge, also with 5 winners, right? And that's actually taking place right now. We're about to announce the winners. So all that to say, it has been an amazing first year for this automation system being public, plus the community with prompt drops and giveaways and the course material and other resources and templates that I didn't really even talk about in this video. But yeah, it's just been amazing to see sellers using this system and saving hundreds and hundreds of hours of time, plus making more sales than they would have otherwise. On Etsy, it's a game of quality, but you do also need quantity. If you only have 50 listings, your shop might not get very far. But if you can crank up to the 200, 300, 400 listing level, your shop can really start to gain traction, and using the automation system really makes that a lot easier. So all that to say, I am super grateful for where we've been and the current state of the system. It is amazing, and it's just really beautiful to kind of go back and see all the improvements and changes that we've made over the past year, because this thing is just a powerhouse and it's only going to get better. And on that note, our very last milestone here that has not yet been released, but is in very active development right now, Smart Swap, okay? And this is the true bulk edit. So this will allow you to not just add one image across all of your listings, kind of like we just showed in the bulk edit V1, but what it'll actually allow you to do, if I open up the folders here, is it will use AI vision to find your listing with this bunny, and it'll allow you to swap out as many of these mockups as you want, right? So you can find the bunny and say, I want to add this guy holding the Christmas bunny mockup at rank 3, maybe the size chart with the bunny at rank 4, and it'll actually do that for not just the bunny, but also this deer as well, right? So you can say for the deer, I also want to add this at rank 3 and this at rank 2, and it'll find the deer listing and add the deer mockups. Okay, so hopefully that kind of makes some sense. It's not just a static image across all of your listings. It'll actually do a smart swap and find the right listing. And all you will do is just drop in all of this into Downpour, and it'll match it all up itself. Like, you don't have to do anything. I really think this is going to be one of the most high-tech Etsy features out there. Yeah, and I am super excited for this to launch, right? Or this cute duckling, right? You'll just find the cute duckling listing, and you can swap out as many of these mockups as you want. So this will be releasing here in January, and I am just beyond excited. I think it's really going to level up this entire system. And yeah, it kind of allows Downpour and the automation system as a whole to be a two-way sync instead of just a one-way uploader. It already is a little bit with bulk edit, but with this smart swap, like, you're going to have an automated powered shop. And that unlocks a lot of new features that we're not going to talk about right now, but that just make running this business easier and easier than ever before. So anyway, lots of exciting stuff for 2026. The fact that we were able to do all this in 2025 while the system was still building is insane. And the fact that it's where it is today just, yeah, makes me really, really excited for 2026. This community and this software is my passion. I am all in on making this thing better and better. I spend every day working on it, and yeah, I'm just extremely excited. And the whole point is to see your shops grow, the people using the system, saving time, making more money, and just having fun along the way. That's why we do the giveaways and why the community exists in the first place. And yeah, it's just amazing. If you're in the community right now, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's just one of the most supportive, fun, and helpful places to be for AI art sellers on Etsy. And that's why we keep leveling up the challenges like these. And yeah, it's only going to get crazier in 2026. So with all that said, it has been an amazing 2025. Stay tuned for more videos and announcements coming very soon on how we're kicking off 2026 with a bang. Thank you so much for an amazing year and for watching this video. And otherwise, I will see you in the next one.